Everyone, I'm back again. We're to the another news, Buffet. Buffet, can't why, and Lama time, can't why there are these old men don't arrest Jacob Zuma, no, Thabo Mbeki. It is old timers don't arrest. This Lama Ket, this is the proof why these old timers are still in parliament in numbers, while we the youth are still unemployed. They don't arrest Bab. Thabo Mbeki is come with another story again. They always invite him. I don't know why. They always invite him. And I'm doing 80, bruh. He's 80 years old, 80 something. So there's this article written by Uloiso Sidimba. It says Thabo Mbeki, our character is beyond Thabo Mbeki. Our character is beyond price in 167 million TRC legal battle. Right? Former President Thabo Mbeki and Eastwhile Justice Minister Bridget Mabandla want to intervene in the 167 million constitutional damage case brought by survivors and victims of apartheid human rights violation to protect their reputations. For several years, Mbeki and Mabandla have been accused of exerting political pressure on the National Prosecuting Authority (NPA) and SA Police Service not to pursue hundreds of cases referred to law enforcement agencies but the Truth and Reconciliation (TRC). Mbeki were involved, and there were powers behind Mbeki who were involved in doing that. Mbeki Mara sold out. Mbeki, yo, my hands is sold out. But I'm not saying that loud, guys. Don't take my words. But these people, they didn't want no justice for black people. They didn't want no justice at all. As long as they were rich and successful, on their side, they were fine. Yeah. Earlier this year, several survivors and family members of victims of gross human rights violation under apartheid and the Foundation of Human Rights approached the Gauteng High Court Pretoria. The survivors and victims' relatives want a High Court declaration on the conduct of the offices currently held by President Cyril Ramaphosa and his government, Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Maboloko Kupai, her police counterpart Senzo Mchunu, National Director of Prosecuting Solidi Shamila Badoi, and SAPS National Commissioner General Fane Masemola in unlawfully refraining and obstructing the investigation and prosecution of apartheid era cases referred to by the TRC to the NPA or unlawfully abandoning or undermining them. Come on, guys. So people didn't deserve to pay for what they did. They were just here to tell these stories about Bakal and to so that everyone can act up in that commission and stuff. And then they forced Mama Win to admit to things that she didn't do. Come on, man. It was a show, man. Just like the Zondo Commission. It was a show straight. And these people were never held accountable in any way, Baba. They still enjoyed their lavish life. They stole everything from government. And they bought land in Orania. Like, they were never accountable. And do you think those people will ever respect us? Ever. Forget. They will never respect us, Baba. They believe we deserved apartheid. Actually, if they could bring back apartheid again, they could. If they would, they could. They also want the conduct to be declared a violation of their rights and more generally the families of victims of the survivors of apartheid era crimes to equality, dignity and the right to life and bodily integrity in terms of the constitution. The court has been asked to declare the conduct inconsistent and constitutional values and the rule of law as entrenched in the Constitution, as well as the principal values and obligation arising from the Promotion of National Unity and Reconciliation Act read with the postscript and to the Constitution. Additionally, it is breach of the duties and obligations contained in the Constitution, the NPA Act and the SAPS Act to investigate and prosecute serious crimes, and not to interfere with the legal duties of prosecutors and law enforcement officers, and inconsistent with South Africa's international law obligation in terms of the Constitution. There were Nuremberg trial for the victims of the Holocaust. In Germany, they were prosecuted this bill. There was no commission that will yield no results that are tangible, that are satisfying to the victims. The survivors and family and relatives want the government to pay constitutional damages for purposes of affirming constitutional values, vindicating the rights of the applicants and families, and deterring future interference. In total, the 167 million constitutional damages include about 115.3 million over 5 years for purposes of enabling families and organizations supporting families to advance truth, justice, and closure by assisting them to pursue investigation and research, inquest, private prosecution, and related litigation. All them or nje ukuthi bazixolise ngemali, guys, or nje ukuthi bazixolise, because probably those the people that they lost, they might be their breadwinners today, and these people maybe they can't work, they don't have any money, so that man will go a long way, because them chasing justice, they know that these people, probably others, they've died, they've passed away, who participated, the Boers who participate in apartheid. So it's pointless to go after them. But compensation in terms of money, it will go a long way. It will go a long way. But chasing them with law, it won't work. Another 8 million over rent, another 8 million rent over 5 years to enable families and organizations supporting families to play a monitoring role in respect of the work of the policing justice authorities charged with investigating and prosecuting the TRC cases. They also want 44 million over 10 years to enable families and organizations supporting families to pursue commemoration, memorialization, and public education activities around the TRC cases, including the holding of public events and publishing of books and making of documents. Yeah, they damn right here. But Thabo Mbeki won't allow this. That's why Ketlali Puma, because they know this, their fault. These things wouldn't be happening if they did things the right way. Aye. Survivors and family members of the victims also want the court to declare the failures and refusal by the president to establish a commission of inquiry into the suppression of the investigation and prosecution of the TRC cases inconsistent with his constitutional responsibilities under the Constitution and violation of the rights to equality, dignity, and the right to life and bodily integrity of the victims in terms of the Constitution. They want the High Court to the right to direct to promulgate within 30 calendar days of its order, and the establishment of commission of inquiry chaired by the sitting or retired judge designed by Chief Justice Mandi Samaya. I don't require no commission, guys. Commissions will waste your time and money. Don't just suit the government to give you money and improve your lives. Don't, guys. The commission will, Zondo Commission wasted 1 billion over nothing. Commission will waste your money, guys. You know that your people were violated, were victims of apartheid by the Boers. You know, probably they've passed away. Some are still alive or they're very old, but you know. So don't chase after commissions. Come on, unless you're missing bodies, yeah, you can try and find the bodies and so you can bear in terms of our culture at home. The commission will look into delays in investigating or prosecuting the TRC cases and identify and establish whether, why, or to what extent and by whom efforts or attempts were made to influence or pressure members of the NPA and or the SAAP to stop investigating and prosecuting TRC matters. I guys wasting time here. Mbeki will defend these things. And both says he has come out gun blazing. Mbeki, who was the country's president between 1999 and 2008, and Mabandla, who was Justice and Constitutional Development Minister from 2004 to 2008, both are allegedly to have engaged in unconstitutional, unlawful, and criminal conduct. Mbeki was very involved. Even in the Jacob Zuma's case, was accused of interfering with the law. So the guy needs precedence. He was no Jesus. Those allegations are highly defamatory and damaging to our dignity and reputation. Our character is beyond all price, and Mbeki explained in his affidavit fired last week. Well, that's where he comes in to defend himself. In addition, Mbeki and Mabandla insisted that if the allegations against them were upheld, even though they were false, they would unjustifiably breach their rights and right to human dignity. when you breach people's rights to dignity by not holding accountable people who have violated them. Now you just let life moved on in your watch while you as a president. Aye. He stated that because they are accused of interference with the NPA and its prosecution of TRC cases for allegedly personal and or private organizational interest, the current government may contend that High Court must and find that there was unconstitutional, unlawful, and criminal conduct by him, his administration, and Mabandla, and that it was contrary to the public interest because the government and the public have an interest in protecting the rule of law and ensure good governance. If the court were to make a finding along these lines, Mabandla and I be exposed to potential personal liability by those that claim to have been victims of such unconstitutional, unlawful, and criminal conduct, or whose claims derive from the rights of such victims, the ex-president explained. Mbeki told the court that they fear being exposed to lose an indemnity as former government functionaries. You worried about small things. These are people's lives we're talking about here, Thabo Mbeki. These are people's lives that were lost fighting, not studying at University of Sussex. Such a risk has a far-reaching implications for our legal rights and financial interests, he added. Mbeki said to the extent that common law does not accord them to the constitution to intervene, common law rules must be developed in terms of the constitution to recognize the rights of the party to intervene as a respondent in the circumstances of the present case. Those circumstances are when the present administration is challenged for breach of the constitution, relying directly on and only on the alleged conduct of the former administration, where named members of the former administration are unexpressingly and directly alleged to have acted in an unconstitutional, unlawful, and criminal manner, he explained. Mbeki continued this court would fail to promote the purported objective of the Bill of Rights, and it does not develop the common law to recognize our right to intervene in such circumstances. Thabo Mbeki, Baba, you try to protect yourselves, and you guys ANC of the early 90s, you did a lot of compromises. Guys. You did a lot of compromises. I don't know if you were sober or what, or you were forced, you were coerced, but you did a lot of compromises that were detrimental to the victims. You hope maybe life will be fine, people will forget. Nah, people don't forget because you haven't improved their lives. When your life, you stay in a shack, Baba, and you think, my son died or my daughter died fighting for this freedom, and now we live in a shack, and these people are doing this to the country, they plundering the country, they're not improving anything. You are forced as a citizen or as a victim to complain again. But if their lives were fine, their lives were going, I don't think they would visit these things, man. I don't think they would revisit these things. But guys, yeah, comment down below, subscribe, to let us grow the channel. This is your boy Mthembile. This is Mzansi Political Channel. Tell me what you think. I'm off, and see you on the next video.